A group of local firefighters have been taking their talents to Africa. The idea? Teach people fire prevention in their own communities.
Africa Fire Mission just got back from its 12th trip last week,
neat.
And Matt Flagler is one of the firefighters who's been helping with these trips. He brought some photos and some great stories to tell us. Matt, welcome. Good to see you.
Good morning.
How did we were just talking about this. What we really want to know is how in the world did this begin? How did you start going to Africa to teach fire prevention and safety?
So about 6 years ago, one of my closest friends in the world, who is a fellow firefighter, was drugged on a mission trip to Kenya by his wife. Okay. And like all firefighters, we go and visit the local firehouse. So my friend visited the fire station in Nairobi, Kenya, capital city. It's the size of Houston, Texas.
Okay.
And he found out they have 2 fire stations.
Oh. What?
And 150 firefighters. Now Houston, Texas has 80 fire stations as an example.
A comparison.
Yes.
Wow.
And so he was really motivated by those guys, and their one request was not for things, it was for knowledge. Oh. And he came home and he quit his job and he started a nonprofit. And the following year, drugged me to Kenya.
That's amazing.
We've been serving there together ever since.
Wow. And so I imagine you were struck by the same thing he was when you got there. Is it a case of you don't know what you don't know when you talk to some of these folks who are over there?
Yes, absolutely. And we tell those guys that we're there to learn just as much from them as they are from us. We need to know how they are able to do so much with so little.
Right. That's what I was wondering. I can't even imagine how they can do their jobs with that little equipment and that few people. How do they do it?
Yeah, well, it's a real challenge, and frankly, it's demoralizing for those firefighters who really have a heart to serve like firefighters worldwide, but miss opportunities to save lives and property. Because they just don't have the resources.
So you personally raise your own money to go on these trips, you and the other firefighters?
Yes.
That's just, I mean, that's very special in and of itself, but I'm imagining when you go there too, and you know, a lot of times we'll talk about, you know, our firefighters need this equipment or that equipment. Beyond just the equipment, what is the infrastructure like in some of these communities where they're dealing with challenges that you guys would never see here?
And I think we have pictures to kind of go along with this answer.
Let's take a look.
Put those up there. Yeah.
Yeah, so we have been kind of expanding our role. We started in a real urban environment where they were under-resourced in terms of other urban environments.
Yeah.
And so we brought some equipment that would help urban firefighters be successful, but now that we've really grown our role in nations across Africa, we look at ways to be really creative in communities that have no motor vehicles or no water available to them. So we keep trying to increase our partnerships and look at ways to be successful. One of the areas that we are also working so hard in is education of children.
I was just going to say, those kids look like they really love it when you're there.
Oh my gosh, it's great. And it's a lot of fun to do. Our trip we just returned from was a 2-part trip. Our first part was to teach 1,000 children fire safety in settlement communities, and we had a lot of success with that. It was a great.
Do you teach them the same way you teach kids here?
Very similar. Stop, drop, and roll, and stay low and smoke. Obviously, there's some cultural differences, and so we spend a lot of time trying to learn the culture and to be culturally appropriate, so that we teach things that are really meaningful to them and help them grow.
Now, when you come back here and you share with your brothers and sisters who are firefighters here, what's their response to what you're doing?
It's usually just kind of hard to believe that somebody is able to pick up and go across the world and go into such a foreign environment. But the one thing I've learned is that people are people across the world and across cultures, and certainly firefighters are firefighters wherever we go.
Now, your talking points here say you have 3 consistent needs: financial support, firefighters, and fire equipment, and prayer.
Yes. So, you know, I'm a Christian man, and I believe in the power of prayer. We have seen our work be magnified by prayer, and just a small example was we brought a fire truck to a settlement community, and the firefighters had never really done that kind of work before. They were very nervous, and the kids came out and were just in awe of it, and we were just, you know, our prayer was, God, just use this however you think is best. And within just about 5 minutes, a group of UN workers showed up who were trying to vaccinate children. And they just by chance had picked this area. And
they were all together right there to get vaccinated.
all these kids were together, and they gave out about 4 times the vaccines they would have given out.
Maybe one chance at all, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's right. I know we got to wrap. Very quickly, if people want to find out more information, what's the best way they can do that?
Yeah, check us out on Facebook. It's Facebook Africa Fire Mission or africafiremission.org.
Thank you, Matt, for all the work you do. Happy Thanksgiving.
Special work. Thank you so much. And we'll be right back.